Yeah, it does though, doesn't it? Hmm. Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing okay. I wanted to make sure to include an audio section in this week's episode because I haven't done one for the last couple. I subtitle my videos by hand myself and it takes a long time, as you can imagine. I do sort of like 2 minutes of talking per hour of subtitling or something. It takes a long time. For that reason, I think I'm going to try not subtitling this section, so please turn the auto captions on if you need them. Originally, I was really against this as an idea, but when I uploaded a couple of other videos that I didn't caption because they were really long, the auto captions seemed to be a lot better than I remember them being. So hopefully that's okay with you. I'll ask for feedback maybe in a couple of weeks if we keep trying this, or you can leave it down below this video. But it will save me a lot of time and energy in the long run, and it will make the videos a bit more sustainable for me to keep uploading. Especially for like the last couple of weeks, for example, I've been really tired and I've had other stuff on, and so the idea of filming audio sections and then sitting down for hours on a Friday to subtitle them has just not been ideal or even maybe even plausible. I would really rather not during long weeks. But you guys enjoy these sections, so I want to keep including them. So let me know if this works for you. But otherwise, I'll answer a question. This question is from Miranda on Patreon, so thank you, Miranda. And then the question was seconded by Malcolm on Patreon, so thank you as well to Malcolm. And the question is, can you talk about journaling and memory and how what you choose to collect or save? Does it help you remember in the long run, and how to decide what's worth saving? And then the second part of the question is, how can you copy out full articles by hand? Doesn't it hurt to write down the long stuff? And do you do it as soon as you find it, or set time aside to write down more than one thing you found? So I'll answer both of those questions. And I'll answer the second part first because I think it's a quicker answer. So it does sometimes hurt to write things down by hand, can't lie. I do get pain in my wrist. Thankfully, nothing major yet, though it is something that I keep an eye on for the future. Obviously, as an illustrator and someone who does a lot of writing by hand, I do try to be aware of my pain levels, if you will, and any strain. I do try to do wrist exercises. You can find them online, but I'm not very good at actually remembering to do them. But it can hurt when I write for a long time. I get more pain when I'm writing personal stuff, when I'm writing really fast as I'm thinking. That does cause me pain. But when I'm copying out articles by hand or other information, I try to pace myself, I guess, and then I get less pain. But if I've been journaling for a couple of hours, if I'm really into like the swing of it, then it can be painful, and then I'll just try to stop and give myself a rest. I think so far I've just been lucky that I haven't had too much pain yet, but it is something that I anticipate for the future, if that makes sense. It is something I'm nervous about keeping an eye on. And do I set time aside for it, or do I do it as soon as I find it? A bit of both. If it's a short article that I want to write down when I'm doing it, then I will, and otherwise I'll bookmark it and then write it down later. So it is a bit of both. It varies. Sometimes when I'm backfilling, like at the moment, I'm getting ready to change books in July. And I've been backfilling some old pages, so I've been bookmarking a lot of articles, and then sometimes I'll sit for a couple of hours each evening and write like a lot through the pages. So it's a bit of both. Sometimes I'll write in the moment when I find it if I really like it, and other times if it's not practical, then I'll save them and I'll do like a lot later. And then the first part of the question, can you talk about journaling and memory and how what you choose to collect or save? Does it help you remember in the long run, and how to decide what's worth saving? Yeah. It feels complicated to explain, but I don't think it is complicated. So I'll save anything that I want to save, essentially. It's not complex in that way. Anything that I like, I'll save. Anything that I want to remember, I'll save. Anything that made me feel a certain way, I'll save. It really is just that if I like it, I do it. Like the Ariana Grande lyrics. Like, I see it, I like it, I want it, I got it. Like, I just write it down. I have really, really bad issues with my memory, which I've spoken about a bit before. So I really think of it like if I want to keep it, then I have to write it down. Otherwise, it's gone so quickly, and I can't remember enough to even navigate to find it back, if that makes sense. So if it touches me in a certain way, I guess, I just save it. Like, that's how I work it out, is that if I like it, or I felt like it really resonated, or it made some kind of impact, if I found it interesting, if I want to make an effort to remember something, even if it's not interesting, I just write it all down. A lot of it is special interest based or work based. Sometimes it's just a fun fact I think is really cool that I want to make an extra effort to remember. And I'll write it down. That's how I decide, really. It's just, do I like it? Do I want to try and remember it? Do I want to be able to refer back to it? Then I write it down. I'm not sure how to explain it. It's like a gut instinct, I guess I have. Like, if I'm reading something, I get like a gut feeling about whether or not I'll want it later, and that's how I decide to keep it. And does it help me remember in the long run? Sometimes, to be honest with you. Memory issues are a difficult thing, and they're quite complex, especially depending on what causes them, and I don't know for sure what causes mine. But the act of writing things out by hand, I think, does help them stick better. Not in every instance, but I do feel like I have a better grasp on things. I think I have more of a chance if I write it out by hand. If I don't write it out at all, it's gone very quickly, but if I make the effort to write it out, it increases the odds, if that makes sense. Yeah. It's difficult because my memory issues are a bit strange and I don't understand how they work. So yes and no to whether they help me remember. In some cases, but not all instances. But I do feel better knowing that I have the information kept somewhere if I need it, if that makes sense. And I think that's the answer. Let me check to see if Malcolm had any other additions. If I can add to it, do you look back at your journal sometimes, e.g. at a particular time of the year, or if you have energy to re-enjoy memories but not do new things? That's a really nice ending. I do look back at my journals, yeah. I don't always sit and read in depth because my handwriting is not particularly legible to me, which is very ironic, but I do look back at them and make the effort to read them, and it does help me remember, I think. If not that, I can look back through my journals and I can get a feeling for a time period, if that makes sense. If I look back at January in my planner now, I can see the photos and I can see how much I wrote, and I get like a sense of the things I was doing and going through. And I really like that. So I hope that made sense. Let me know if the auto captions work for you. And I'll speak to you soon. She thinks it's snacks. It's not snacks. It's not snacks.